the ASPT Community Publication Explorer. There's three sections to this interface. We're going to describe the center one first, then the side panels afterwards. The center one here is a comparison or ranking exploration interface. The columns, the names of all of the individual members of the ASPT are here in the name column. And if someone has held several different offices, you can see for here, like the different offices, that their name is listed once for each different office that they have held. This allows us to do some comparisons with people who held different office or different positions or received different awards. Then we have a column for the gender, male, female, or androgynous. We put an algorithm on it. Sometimes we got them, most of them we got right. So we apologize for any inconsistencies. Please let us know. Then there's columns over here for if you're an ASPT member, which is the case for all these. The number of co-authors, in which case, if you look at this, what I'm doing is I'm using my mouse to sort of hover over the region, anywhere I put my mouse. And when you're over a column, it shows you the values that are in that column. So this, in this case, Alan here has 112 co-authors. If you go down here to somebody else, Eric, then there's 88 authors. Brigitte has 57 co-authors. And so here you have, in the size of the column shows us the value of that. And then we have these other metrics. Betweenness is a metric for how well connected you are in the community based on the publications. And the details of that is a little out of the scope of this video, but you can use it to sort of say how well connected is the individual. This percent female is what percentage of the co-authors along with this author are female. And then the last column is the overall total number of publications that we found in the database that we mined, which is the cross-reference database. This display is set up so that it kind of gives you an overall rank, and you can have, there's a top column that's combined, and so right now I think you can set this and you can say show me the rank that's the overall combined. When you click in there, you'll see this little arrow over here. It's showing us a rank in an overall average of adding all these columns together. If you wanted to see the ranking just to percent female, you click in the top header of that column, and it reorders everyone. Whoops. Sorry, we'll edit that out. This one reorders everyone in the order of their percent female, and so you can now take a look at the individuals that have the highest rank of percent female co-authorship. And that's not always consistent with the overall number of total publications. If you notice here, those that have highest female rank in percentage tend to have a smaller number of total publications. If we were to organize by the total publications, then we get a smaller percentage of female co-authors. So that would tend to tell us there is some inverse correlation just in what we discovered here. So you can click on each of these individual columns to order the individuals by the rank in that column. And again, and you click again, it'll reverse the sense of that. So you now have the authors that have the lowest betweenness, which also seems to be low co-authorship. And if you click it to get the positive one, so there's betweenness certainly seems to sort of be, it's a computer algorithm for connectivity. Number of co-authors. So this gives you an idea to explore this data set, whether it's combined overall ranking or by individual factors. And if you want to combine, if you want to change how these individual factors go to meet into the combined, we can change the relationship. Like here, percent female is pretty important in the overall ranking. But if we wanted to click right here in the gap and decrease the size of that, and then when we let it go, this should reorganize according to the overall value of the combined with a smaller percentage of female authorship. If we care less also about betweenness, we can reduce this column. And now we'll see it changes the rankings of the individuals. So if we go back here and increase this again to be something that's more important, then it'll change the ranking as we go. So this just lets you explore the way the individuals in the ASPT membership according to the rankings by either all or some of these metrics. I also want to point out over here in the text fields, like in the name and the office, we can filter those to only look at a portion of the data set. There's about 1,400 members that was on the roll here. So this display has 1,400 rows as is. If we go over here and say, hey, I only want to look at people who've held the president office, there's a little filter funnel icon. You click filter, and click that, and it opens up, and you can put in a text to contain. So if we just say president, there it gives us both regular and past, past president, past elect, and president. So this will be in effect. You can then just close this little, you can click the OK to close this. So now you have a subset of those entries, and this subset filter will stay in effect until it's canceled. So if we only want to look at presidents who have been named Shirley, then we can also come over here and say, click on this and say, I want to have presidents that also are Shirley. And so now you see that we have, we've focused on just one individual because there's only one individual who's been a president and his name's Shirley. So we have to click on this and then just empty this script out and click again to undo that filter. So you can select that text to make it empty and then click again to undo the filter. So you can combine these different filters as well. And also these text fields we can sort as well, like we did over here. So if you can click on this one, you can sort by male, you can sort by alphabetical, so it gives us male or the androgynous value here, so we weren't sure. So it's not as helpful as we would hope, but this gives us a chance to sort of sort by name and office type, or filter by office type if you want to look at who are the Cooley recipients. Now it gives us a smaller set of the Cooley recipients, and we can come back over here with a smaller set, and we can look at what's the, who is the highest percentage of female for the Cooleys. How much do they do? Is this related in total publications to the percentage of female? Is it related in this connectivity to the percentage of female? So this lets you do some exploration. That's sort of most of what you can do with this interface here. I'll let you explore it. Also, however, if we want to look at a particular individual that we're interested in, we can come over here and we can type in something to complete. So if we type in like solstice, it'll give us the entries, and we notice that Pam and Doug are in here more than once, but we'll just go with one of them. And then you can say, I want to look at this local network, the direct co-authors of this individual that we're selecting. This total membership co-authorship network is too large to really effectively visualize very well. It's about 45,000 publications. And so whenever you put that many nodes and links on a page, it gets confusing. So so what we did here is we selected Doug, and we asked the database to show us only Doug and the immediate co-authors around him. If you come over here, there's a little zoom out which you can click, and that zooms this panel to the left. And you see up here in the top left, there's a zoom back in again. You can click that to go back in. So now let's explore this a little bit. You can go with the mouse and click an individual, and you can center around an individual by just clicking on them with the mouse. And over on the top right, we'll get some of the information about them. What was their role? What was their percentage of publication? That sort of thing. So, and you can also click and hold with your mouse and select a region, and then multiple ones will be selected. You see the blue areas there. And you can come up to these little arrows to go through them, and you can move through a multiple selection and explore something that way. So let's also go to something like we'll go to this is a network here that shows Pam and Doug do a lot of co-authorship with shared co-authors. But this is obviously not the whole network. So you can come to somebody who's on the outside, like Mark, and right-click with the mouse or put both fingers down on a Mac touchpad, and you can get the ability to expand this network or hide this individual. So if we say expand, we're going to say go back to the database and look at all of the individuals who are directly co-authors with Mark. When I do that, it will extract those extra values and give us this extra set. And you can sort of click and drag this to hold. We have a little bit of sort of gravity, and it stops after a while. So you can drag around a little bit if you want to explore. Also, if you use 2 fingers on a mouse or right mouse on a Mac, and you can zoom in or out to look at an overall larger graph. So this gives us an idea. There's a last thing we can do too. You can sort of see by stretching, and you look like, for example, Tatiana here is connected to both sides of this network. There's kind of a bipartite network with individuals that co-authored with Mark, individuals that co-authored with Pam or Doug, but not quite as many that are in the middle that co-authored with both of them. That tells us something about the community. So this interface allows you to explore it. Let's go back here. Let's show one extra feature we want to do if you want to look at overlapping communities. So we have Doug and Pam's sort of in that first entry there. Well, if we come back over here, I think we need to remember we have to turn off this. Okay, there's no filter anymore here. All right. If we go to the filter for and let's look at Pam for a second. Okay, we can also, I won't need this. We can also click an individual here. When you select that individual, that will open up their community on the other side panel. And so there's a similar zoom in button up here. You can zoom in. So now we're looking at Pam's individual community. But you see some of them are highlighted white and others are not. The highlighted ones are those that are shared between the graph on the right and the graph on the left. When I come back over here, I can look into here. I can zoom in. So these are the ones I can now see that Pam's co-authorship network is highlighted within Doug's co-authorship member, here. And so we can interactively go back and forth between these two if we wanted to explore some of Pam's co-authors. Here's co-authors like Leslie that co-authored with Pam but not with Doug. This is interesting. So should we expand this to see if there's other co-authors that she had? Okay. Ken. Now this will be something you can see. I think Ken has quite a bit of co-authorships. So if you expand this will be a large network around him. That shows us, again, there is a large network of co-authorships with just a smaller number of overlaps. So this is a quick run through of how this system can work here. You can explore by filtering. Remember, you can clear the filter here. And show us the rest of it. And I saved the worst thing for last. There seems to be one bug in this. If you notice that right now the center does not scroll anymore. After you access the graphs here and explore them, it seems like the center column doesn't let us explore. You can still do the other activities such as changing the rankings and those kind of things, but it doesn't seem to be as active as it did before. And so what I suggest is just refreshing the browser to get the interaction of the center column back. So now we'll refresh it, it starts. So anytime that the center column is stuck for you, it doesn't seem to be functioning, just refresh the browser. So this is the quick demonstration of the ASPT Community Publication Explorer. I hope you enjoy being able to use it and explore this rich data set.